Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Ifoma Okoli here, and I know, yes, you're wondering what is going on. I see Dyna Ekwueme's face. Mama Dyna on this page. What's happening? Okay, is Dyna taking over? No, guys, but Dyna had me on and we spoke about submission in marriages. What does submission look like in the modern marriage? How is it supposed to look like? What are the dynamics affecting submission between a man and a woman these days? What do modern men and modern women expect? How can they make submission a palatable and awesome thing in their home, as opposed to this bad word that submission is made to look like, right?
I can literally do everything a man can. So
that's right.
Is it that you come correct, or we just have to change the dynamic?
So what are the dynamics? What's going on? What's going on in submission? And I need you guys at the end of this to write your comments in the comment section. What do you think can be done? How do you do it, if you are married? Thank you so much for interacting and enjoy this highly informative session with Mama Dyna and myself.
Submission. It is 2024 and these men, they're still begging for submission. Anyway, guys, hello and welcome. And I have a beautiful lady on the screen with me today.
It's good to be here. I'm Ifoma Okoli. I'm a mom, a wife, medical lab scientist by profession, but a YouTube educator these days. So that's me in a nutshell.
Cool. Today, Ifoma is coming to tell us why is it that submissive women are not available for the modern man. First of all, I want to start with this submission thing. Do you think that in this 2024 that there are women still submitting, or is it just a myth? And what is submission to you?
First of all, are there people still submitting in 2024? I would say there are definitely people submitting in 2024. It's more of the intentional people. Either that group or there's the group that is made to submit by culture and circumstances, So that's the way that submission comes across these days. We're talking between, of course, wives and husbands here. So those are the two groups that I see. And then what's submission? Submission basically is letting down your will and what you want to do, taking it a notch down and then taking on somebody else's, their will, what they want to do, and doing what the other person wants done, basically. Submitting is basically, you're agreeing for the other person.
Do you think with the way relationships are set up now that the average modern man and the average modern woman is happy or unhappy? Like, what do you think the case is? The dynamics of many relationships now. Do you think that because of this whole submission, respect, blah, 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 do you think that there is happiness or unhappiness in many modern relationships today?
Happiness? I don't know. Have you seen that movie, Pursuit of Happiness? No, I digress. Okay, like happiness, I don't know. It's a serious word, okay? It depends on people. Happiness, I feel, is like an individual thing. And if people have decided, if they've decided that they're going to be intentional, if they've decided that this is what we want, we're going to work it out. To me, I feel like that's where happiness comes in. Is like, okay, this is what we've agreed on. This is how we are going to do it. So whatever happens, we are in this together and we're working it out daily, and they have that understanding. I feel those people have the capacity to be happy more than when it's not intentional.
So do you think, how do I phrase this? In the past, most women were more submissive than the modern woman. What most men complain about these days is, oh, my wife is not respecting me enough, my wife is not doing this, all that they saw their mothers do, basically, or what they heard that their grandparents did and all of that. So the question is, with this whole traditional, modern setting and all of that, do you think that there was any happiness with that sort of dynamic? Our foreparents, compared to what we have today, do you think that there were more happy relationships in the past than what we have today? Or should a marriage or a relationship be void of happiness? Or is it just work? Or is it just making things, Yeah. There are people who have stayed together for years. No happiness. They're just making it work.
In the past, they were not, it was mandated, basically, submission, okay, especially in our culture and even in Western cultures, way back when, women were more like, okay, hey, your place, your husband is the head, that, and that was it before the rise of feminism and all that. But let's not even go there yet, right? But the
We're
people
going to touch it.
yes, the people in the past, the women were submissive because, they had to, and there was a lot of peace, I would say, because you didn't see the women like, they were more quiet than women of these days. So there seemed to be relative on the outside, peace and quiet. Now, on the matter of if they were actually happy, I don't know if, again, I think it depends on who you're with. Is the person kind? Are you getting your needs met and everything as into your satisfaction to a certain degree? Are you getting your needs met? Basically, they feel fulfilled in the marriage. It's based on, I think, expectations a lot of times. In fact, most of it is based on expectations. If you're saying happiness has to do with, do I feel fulfilled? Women back then maybe were more happy than women these days. I think women these days, we have a whole bunch of expectations because knowledge is vast, okay? And then you would say a lot of women back then were not as exposed, so the expectations were lower than we have these days. So these days, there's a lot of knowledge everywhere. We know what we want.
People are more vocal. People are more vocal. Yeah. Yes. Why are submissive women not available for the modern man? What do you think is wrong right now? Or why this is so difficult for men to tap into? There's that constant complaint of, oh, my wife is not this, my wife is not that, my girlfriend is not this, blah, blah, blah. Why?
I think a lot of men have not caught up. A lot of men, they've not caught up to the fact that the modern woman is not your mother. It's not the woman you saw while growing up. A lot of men, especially from where we are from, like from Africa, from Middle East, dare I say Asia, well, some parts of Asia, India, that whole submissive culture is expected, okay? So it's expected that a woman needs to be submissive, and then I'm the man of the house kind of thing, right? But a lot of men, they've not caught up to the fact that, women, of course, the knowledge is vast. Women have higher expectations, and they need to be more intentional in being a husband, in just how they show up in the relationship so that they can get the submission that they desire, that a man naturally desires, basically.
For me, I feel like the problem is that a lot more women, due to what you mentioned earlier, feminism, or would I say the third wave feminism, modern day feminism, many women are in their masculine. And it's not, I don't want to say it's women's fault. Capitalism, a whole lot of factors have put women on the same level financially. Things that made women, I would say things that contributed to women in the past being submissive, not being able to walk, not being able to, handle a whole lot of things because of the way society was set up at the time. I feel like that has played a whole lot of role, and more women, because they can get it, because I can literally do everything a man can. So
that's right.
Is it that you come correct, or we just have to change the dynamic to suit the both of us? It's a vast topic, but I feel like feminism has contributed a whole lot third wave feminism, because the first wave was perfectly okay. It was good to get the women to get the jobs, level up with the men, start earning, contribute to society, contribute to their family. But it went from that first wave to this third wave where it's a lot. So the expectation that women have is different from what the men have, and I feel like more men are still stuck, like you said, in the past, where even if a woman is earning the same as them, or for many more than them, they still expect all those things that their mothers did, their grandmothers did, all the things that happened in the 50s and 40s and whatsoever. They still expect such things in relationships. So my question is, do you think that feminism played a role?
I mean, of course, feminism is huge. It was supposed to be, I think it came up because women, of course, worldwide were being ill-treated, not treated right, across the board everywhere. So not being paid the same amount of wages for, the work they're doing, the same as men. And, it became this whole movement to treat women better. But then this movement to treat women better, it got out of hand, I would say. I mean, feminism has done a lot of good. So don't get me wrong. I mean, it's great. Now, women are considered highly. Before, women were just like the bottom of the rung, bottom of the ladder. But now, okay, it's good. Things are good. But then for women, of course, in most parts of the world, and the whole feminism movement that was supposed to stay in the office came back home. Okay. It came back to the house. It came into relationships. It came into marriage. Yeah. Okay. And it's not supposed to be. If you see the dynamics,
so you still believe that every relationship should be submission by the woman and the man carrying things along. You still believe when it comes to relationship, things should look like the way it used to be?
No. I feel like everybody's submitting to, like the husband submits, like there's a place in the Bible that says we need to submit one to another. But then the man is the head of the home. He's the head of the household. He's the leader. I cannot see it this way, like a captain leading, a captain is the captain of a ship, okay? And then he has his co-pilot. But they make the final decisions usually, right? And then they run it by, of course, their co-pilots. They have these, of course, captain can't just do everything on his own, so he needs his co-pilot, right? But at the end of the day, every decision that was made about that vessel falls back to the captain. That is the dynamic. Well, coming from a Christian perspective, that's the dynamic, right, of the marriage, of how it's supposed to run. I don't know if I'm going off points at this point, but okay, but that's how it was supposed to work out perfectly.
So in a relationship, do you believe in 50-50? And do you think that there is a correlation between 50-50 dynamics and that imbalance in submission? So if a man and a woman in a relationship, they're earning equal amount of income, do you think that submission would be easy or difficult? Or do you think that regardless of the 50-50 situation, the woman should still submit to the man?
When you're going into the marriage, you have to know that two people cannot move together in one direction unless people are in agreement. Before marriage is even like the best it's the best time to know, can I follow this person? Do I trust his principles and his instincts enough to like follow this person? I mean, with my life, with my children, with my spirituality, with my purpose in life, my calling, is this person going to be game to, is this person even, is he capable of being the leader that I need? Because the truth is, the way that it is fashioned, the man has his role to play. He's the man, natural born leader, okay? And then the woman, she has her own role to play. She is feminine, she reproduces, she's nurturing and everything. So if you see the makeup, I mean, seriously, when you see just the makeup of who the man is and who the woman is, I think everybody needs to bring in their own parts, 100-100, okay? I don't believe there should be 50-50, bringing 100. Okay, you're coming in with your full self in this thing. Okay, so yeah.
If that dynamic of 100, whether it's finances or overall domestic work or everything about the marriage, it means that submission is void. Because for submission to happen, one person has to. It can't be 100. One person has to be compromising, sacrificing. I don't know if I'm saying things right.
I feel
For
what you're
submission to
saying.
naturally happen, I feel like men need to feel like they are totally in charge and not having somebody telling them, oh, if you're bringing this, I'm bringing this. If you're changing diaper, I'm doing this, or I'm bathing the kids. If you're doing that, it has to be as a woman. You play your feminine roles, you stay in your femininity, whilst as a man, I'm in my full masculinity. And I feel like in present day, modern day society, it's kind of impossible because of what capitalism has done. It's broad. Cost of living, the way things have been set up, just a whole lot, especially finances. Before, one man's salary could cover the whole family.
Right.
Afford the house, could afford the car, could afford the wife to stay at home and have tons and tons of kids. But things have changed to the point where a man and a woman has to be working for at least the family to, be on that decent level, to be able to rear children and, raise up responsible kids. But yeah, it's a broad topic, but I feel like, do you think that there is a correlation between stay-home wives and submissiveness? Like you mentioned earlier, you're a biomedical scientist. Within your marriage, do you think that it comes easy for you to submit, or is it just a myth?
No, it does not come easy. Okay, no, it does not come easy. It's a choice that I have to keep making, because I've seen there's when there's submission as opposed to when you're trying to butt heads, and it's to find the best way to do it, and to find middle ground. It's always like a balancing act, I think, and you really have to be wise. And because sometimes you can see things going wrong, you can see something that needs to be corrected, but then you think, how am I going to bring this across? So the way that you broach it, the way that you come across with the solutions, or presenting the issues and maybe solutions that you might have and everything, you also need to be careful with how you come across, because sometimes the way that we come across, it either pushes the person away or can draw the person close. It now will tell, will the problem be solved, or will the problem continue because of how the matter that we're going to now enter quarreling? Are we not now going to leave solution and start talking about ego, who is right, who is not.
Respect.
So you have to be wise with the way that with the dynamics. Basically, you have to be wise. As women, we have to be wise, because women, we are sharp. I'm serious. We are sharp.
Quick to anger, quick to emotions.
Yes, we are sharp. So we have to watch it, and we speak. We scientifically, actually, we speak faster than men. We think and speak faster than we do. So we do have to give them time to
slow to anger, to react.
Right, and give the other person time to process the way they process.
We're both Nigerians. Why do you think this whole submission thing is mostly successful at home? Abroad, it may not really be. It's a whole different dynamic altogether.
I think in the Western countries, even the Western countries and diaspora, they are beginning to see that men and women are really not on the same level. They are beginning to see that the people who are wholesome, who have started thinking about things in a wholesome manner, men and women are now actually, we don't need to bring all that energy from the workplace, and bring it home. They are beginning to see that it doesn't work that well in the house. I dare say that even between Beyonce and her husband, there is submission going on there. There's a whole bunch of submission. I mean, she's her women run the world thing outside or whatever. But when she goes home, okay, that woman's submitted. Okay, like they are together in whatever they are doing. So you cannot take on the whole run the world thing and bring it home, and then every day you
run it outside. Why do you think it just doesn't work? Why do you think it's more successful, or why do you think it's easier for submission or wives or girlfriends to be submissive at home than abroad?
The culture, basically, I feel, oh yes, of course, the culture here is the environment is okay, women, you're in the submissive role. That's what we've grown up to see. That's what is acceptable for the most part in our clients. So that's what we naturally gravitate towards. And then again, I would say still a lot of women depends on our men. Still, the feminism vogue is going around, but it has not fully matured here as such as like in the Western world. I would say a lot of women still are not economically capable as we should at a certain age, as a certain, so a lot of factors basically. So men have more earning power. Most men have more earning power in Africa. Even those who feel okay, no, I've had it. Like those women who feel like no, okay, I don't want to, submit this and that and that. Okay, if you leave, so a lot of women stay, or a lot of men are basically submissive because they don't have a choice. I feel like that's the case. Okay, they don't have a choice. If you decide that, okay, if you have earning power, then you feel like you have a say, right? And all that. But then if you don't have earning power, you're more likely to be quiet and just take whatever.
Even those with earning power at home, they do submit because the society, the way women will be heard, the way women will be taken care of if a relationship decides that it's over or a relationship doesn't work anymore. The advantages that women have outside of Nigeria, enormous, vast.
Yeah.
Then because of the way the society is set up, you may even have and still lose. You may even be earning more than the man and still lose because of the society's expectations, pressures, and all of that. The way things are set up, the way women lose in every case. We see this in relationships. I don't know, court cases, divorce. You see how it drags. You see how outside it's different. It's different, and I feel like that gives women the leverage. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
That's I feel what you're saying. That's right.
Any man watching this video and saying, "Oh, okay, I know I'm born in a different era. Women have been empowered. Women are different now. Women are, it's a different world altogether. It's a woman's world almost." So how do I really tap as a man? My ego needs to be up there. So how do I tap into this submissiveness from the average modern woman? What should I consider? What do I do to get a woman to totally or even partially submit to me in today's world?
That's a loaded question. The man has to, first of all, become intentional. Like, okay, I want this woman, this, modern woman that I'm with, submit to me. How can I pull that submission? How can I get that submission out of her without having to say, you need to submit to me? The Bible says you must submit to me. I'm the head of this home. You must respect me. When you have to say that, then it's not good.
It takes away the power.
Yes. It's not as potent as when you influence it out of her. Like you are that person that she cannot just help but just submit. Okay, she just wants to be, in fact, she just wants to do everything that you're saying just because of who you are as a man. First of all, he has to be a good leader. He has to know what's the mission, what's the vision, what are we striving for as a family, what are our goals first and foremost, where are we heading to? Are we just waking up and going to work, eating and just doing the same things over and over again. What do we want for our children? What do we want for our lives in 5 years, in 10 years? Where do we see ourselves? What are we building? Basically, he has to have that, on point, and then share that vision with the family leadership. Okay, next, of course, he has to, maybe even not a full provider, like he doesn't have to provide everything in the house, but he has to provide something.
I think that one is key. Provide, and a woman will naturally submit. Even a woman that has her own
Exactly.
would naturally
Yes.
submit.
Yes, because there's respect when you are
Yeah.
providing as a man. There's respect that comes with it, because a woman doesn't want to be the person who's providing everything for the house and paying for everything. A woman wasn't made to carry all those responsibilities, and that's just the truth. Yes, there are some times when maybe he's in between he's in between, or he's just out on his luck. Something happened with his business and he's building back up, or
Yeah.
he's in between jobs. Okay, she can help for that.
Circumstantial. Or if it's
Yes.
a permanent situation, like from the get go, then there is a problem. You're
Yes.
not going to get that submission.
Yes, it will be really really hard for her to follow your leading, when as a man, when you're not bringing in any support or anything to the home to support the house, food, children, fees, rent, whatever, what's needed in the house. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. And another thing is protection from the world, basically, from people. Okay, from the world, from even his family, sometimes from just things that, just he's a protector too, and he needs to take that role seriously and show his wife that, okay, I'm on your side. Maybe outside, okay, maybe she does something wrong and he's on her side, and he lets her know, okay, I'm on your side. Then when they go home, they hash it out, and he's like, okay, that stuff, that it wasn't right, this and that, but that's inside the house. But outside, he's seen to protect her and cover her ends, and everything. So women love that. This thing that has to do with, there are some in-laws that the wives need protection from, and a man should know. I've heard some men say, no, I had to make sure that I kept some space between my mother and my wife somehow, because I know how my mother can be. I've heard men say that. I know how my mother can be, so I had to do this and this and put some measures in place just so that my wife is, protected and everything. And not saying that he doesn't honor the mother. He honors his mother as she should be honored, but he makes sure that everybody knows, okay, we don't bring my family into certain things. My wife and my they are protected and everything. So anyhow, so yeah, protection, that is huge. Another thing will be when they have issues, what's going on, how is he presenting himself, like how is he handling the issue, he validating her feelings, because sometimes there are people that don't know how to. There are people that don't know how to validate other people's feelings. They're belittling the wife, and just a lot. Just emotional intelligence is key. A man has to learn emotional intelligence. And yeah, another thing will be romance. Does he make out time? Because a lot of women, in fact, women need attention. A basic love language for most women is attention, spending time, attention. I think I've covered a lot of things that men need to. So yeah, so he has to be really intentional and learn a lot and keep learning, and learn how to love his particular woman, not the other ones he has known before. How maybe my other girlfriend, I will do this one, I'll do this, I'll do this, she'll be okay. Maybe I can just do the same too for my wife. Me, all women are the same. No, all women are not the same. Your wife is different. So yeah, so to find out who he's with and relate with her the way she is, and with what she likes and how she likes it.
This
That man is going to get submission, okay, without being any aspect.
This is a very, very broad one because, I mean, we're actually evolving into that era. I feel like the era where women have been in their masculine, women have been proud to be in their masculine. I think is gradually eroding. I mean, I'm seeing trends now on TikTok, on Instagram of trad wives, traditional, blah, blah, blah. It's now becoming a
Mm-hmm.
trend again for women to submit. And it's lovely to see, it's beautiful to see. But then it's difficult. I would say, as a woman, it's difficult in this era with the way things
Yeah.
have changed over time to be on the same pace as a man, career wise, everything wise. Like, there are women who literally do more in the family, and I'm not saying that they are more than the man, don't get me wrong. I feel like the way those women reason is, I mean, what is it that you're doing that I'm not doing? And even more, I'm bringing my life, which is that giving you kids, I'm working, I'm earning more, I'm, women have been empowered. That word is powerful, have been empowered. And it's difficult in this day and age for the vast majority, the average woman, to find that man who out ends out everything. Women are now more than women. Oh, don't be women of before. Women are now doing much more. Is this CEO you
Oh
find
yeah.
them there? Is it, they can do it all. They can raise kids,
Right.
do it all. So for some women, they don't see the reason for you to be mentioning submission or to put me in my place in the house whilst just being a man and holding on to your ego. Like I said, it's difficult to be in such a position and still be expected to submit. In that case,
Right.
like you mentioned earlier, 100 or 50-50, or understanding who you're with and getting things to work. Bring yourself to that
Right.
person's level. Understand who you're with. Even as a woman, understand the man you're with. What makes him
Right.
happy? Work and work in the relationship. But then submission, like I said, is becoming a myth. Is it necessary for a
Yeah.
relationship to work? Yes. And I know that there were a lot of issues in our four parents' relationships, when it comes to domestic violence, toxicity, a whole lot of things, traumas that they grew up with and they raised us with. But
Yeah.
then I feel like marriage worked better in their times with what we're seeing now. It's external forces. At the end of the day, it's the society. The way the society is set up would determine whether family values will be retained, whether 50-50 submission would happen. It depends on how the society is built. And the society where we are living right now, the capitalist society, the everyday money society, the chase society.
Yes. Rat race.
Difficult. Exactly. You look at yourself, you feel like you have a house, you have a car, you have kids, but you feel like you don't have enough. You need more. So there's that pressure to both men and women to attain to achieve. The society
Yeah.
is a wreck now. And I feel like it's making it difficult for most modern women to be submissive. Like you said, most modern men, or the average modern man, still thinks that things should be, or they even prefer that things should be the way it was in
They
their
were.
parents' time and all of that. It's going to be a back and forth kind of debate. What I would say is, everyone knows who they married. If you're yet to marry, you need to know, if I want this sort of dynamic in a relationship, I need to follow and do what Ifoma pointed out. I need to be that point. You need to put all that in consideration, and I need to add to that list values. Values. Find out the values of the person you want to marry. Does the person have this mentality that, I mean, I'm a chaser, I'm a this, I'm a that, I don't have time to do this, I only want one kid or two kids, I just want to focus on myself, get my life together, values. There are women you meet today and they just want to settle down and have a family, have someone who will do all the financial work. They don't care how much you earn. I want to feel safe, I want to submit to you. So find out the person you're marrying, do they have that mentality of submission, or do they not? So there are so many things in place, and yeah, it's been so lovely hearing your own point of view. Guys, if you don't know Ifoma Okoli, here on YouTube, she has a YouTube channel. So please check out her YouTube channel. Go support her. Let her know you're coming from the Dynamite family. And yeah, do you have anything else to add to this before?
Thank you.
Thank you. I really, I mean, like you said, this is a broad topic, and
Yeah.
there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot to be learned. Just like, I mean, in everything, you can, like a skill, you can build up on what you already know and become better at what you're doing, become better at your relationship. Today, I mean, as in knowledge is vast. If you want something done, if you want some knowledge, you can get it. So if you want your marriage or your relationship to be awesome, to be better, you want to submit to your husband, you also want, that submission from your hubby, like you can, give and take kind of thing. Like not one person is always having their way all the time. So like that give and take relationship, we can learn how to do it. We can build these things like skills and everything. So yeah. So I would encourage everybody out there, it's like building a muscle. So please, by all means, get all the knowledge that you can get with your partner. Encourage them, from time to time, send little messages from here and there, things that you see around, and also appreciate the ones that they are doing, because when you appreciate the little that somebody is doing, they will do more. So I appreciate a lot. I mean, first of all, even start with that whole appreciation thing. Appreciate them and everything. I am on YouTube, like you said, if I'm Okoli, thank you. I appreciate this. And I'm a fan, guys, of Dyna Ekwueme. Okay. And so
Thank you for joining me today.
I'm really excited to be, talking about this issue with you and everything. So yes, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming. Anyway, guys, make sure to give this video a massive thumbs up.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. At the end of the day, marriage is really partnership. It is two people agreeing to go in the same direction together, just like it said in the Bible, Amos 3 verse 3, hey, can two people work together except they are in agreement? Well, so it's an answer that is a question and answer that we need to ask and answer for ourselves in marriage. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this session, and do give it a like, subscribe, share, comment, tell us what you think. And thank you for the Dynamites who came on here to also support. And guys, do check out Dyna Ekwueme's page on YouTube. I mean, where have you been if you have not seen her page? You would love her shows. All right, guys, God bless you. Until the next video, see you next time.
Please pray for me. I want to accept Jesus in my life as my personal Lord and Savior. It will be such a joy and such an honor to walk you through the path of finding meaning and finding such a love with the Father that you never knew you can find. And if you want to surrender your life to Jesus, please say this prayer after me. Say, Lord Jesus, come into my life. Come and be my Lord and personal Savior. Forgive me my sins, cleanse me, sanctify me, and make me pure and whole again. Amen. If you said a prayer, simply means that you're born again. And all I require you to do right now is to send an email to this email address, salvation@streamsofjoy.org. And all you need to write is, I gave my life to Christ. I gave my life to Christ, and our online standby counselors are going to reach out to you immediately. For what our God cannot do does not exist.